Hi, this is Bruce Cook. It is December 2nd. It's Monday, December 2nd, 2024. And we're just going to go around and check out my garden, see how everything is doing. We now have had several nights where it has gone under 32 degrees. Some nights it's hit 28, 29 degrees. And we're going to see how my plants stood up to the cold. So let's start off. We got my red ties, and you can probably even tell just right off the bat. There's no plants just straight off the bat that look like they've been killed off by the cold temperatures, below freezing temperatures. But we got our red ties. Still got peppers on them. Some unripe, some ripe. Still putting out really tiny peppers, and one thing I did a couple nights when I seen the forecast said it was going down to like 28 degrees. I sprayed. I brought my hose out and sprayed the plants with water. It's a little trick you might learn from gardening channels, because that water just adds an extra layer of it's like a barrier to kind of protect them. So that between the leaves and everything and the ambient temperature, and so far it seems like it worked. We got our Carolina Reapers. Now, I have been picking off peppers as they are partially ripe, and then letting them sit in my bedroom and ripening, and it's been working. So far you haven't seen any damage, but now when we get to these ones, this is how you'll know the difference between leaves that are wilted because of lack of water and leaves that have been harmed by the cold temperature. And that's, you'll simply see wilting, but the leaves will retain their normal color if it's just lack of water. But if you notice here, the darker color, that is from being damaged from the cold weather. So chances are those leaves will not recover. So we got some damage done, but looks like the majority of these stood up to the cold weather just fine. I gotta tell you, this is a big disappointment right here. So this is one of the only two plants that or one of either two or three plants that out of 5 plants that were supposed to be chocolate bootlas that turned out to be chocolate bootlas. The others were red habaneros. And this plant ended up being the biggest chocolate bootla plant that grew out of all of them. And it decided to wait until, mid to late October to even put out its first peppers. And now we're already in December. The temperature's already dropping. And I hardly got nothing out of this plant. And you can see there's a lot of leaves on this one that are damaged from the cold weather. So that's a big bummer. Like I've been collecting, my peppers, putting them in the freezer to make sauces and flakes and all that stuff. And my bag, my 1 gallon Ziploc bag with the chocolate bootla peppers, I think I have maybe a dozen peppers in there. And I've only sent out maybe 3 or 4 chocolate bootlas, through the mail. So that tells you how few chocolate bootla peppers I've got to harvest this year. That really sucks. I'm going to make good and sure that I have a lot of chocolate bootla plants growing next year. Because I've said in my past videos, these are my favorite peppers to make sauce, like hot sauce with, for like wings, like chicken wings and stuff. And it seems like every single year, I always have a bad season with chocolate bootlas. I mean, like last year I took in a lot, but I also shipped out a lot. And I only ended up managing to make 1 medium-sized bottle of hot sauce. Probably like 20 ounces at best. Not even. But you can see this chocolate bootla plant it took a hit. And then we have, I think this is a chocolate bootla plant as well. I don't know. Yeah, that's a chocolate bootla plant. And that thing is riddled with peppers, but I mean, it's early December. Took too long. So it looks like we might have, yeah, that's on this plant. Looks like we have one that might be ready to be picked. And then and that's got a little bit of damage on the leaves. Not bad, not as bad as the other ones. And then we got my red primatalis. I guess there's a mix of both red primatalis and Carolina Reapers in here. But you can see most of the leaves survived, but a lot of them didn't. Let's see the rigidity. The rigidity of those peppers still feels pretty strong, so the peppers didn't get damaged. At least not those ones. And I got some trying to ripen again. See, you can see, yeah, see that's damage from the cold weather. But in all my past seasons, my plants usually did a really good job of surviving all the way up until like mid to late December, before once it starts hitting around 20 degrees and below, that's when it really does all the plants in, at least the leaves anyways. Now last year I tried experimenting with using my frost blanket. I had reduced the number of plants down to maybe I don't know, like 15 plants. I had them all in the middle. I had tons and tons of dirt and stuff that I took out of the containers, and I had to surround that to create like a, what do you call it? Something to protect the bottoms of the plants, the containers, the soil, try to keep the roots from freezing. And I ended up thinking that it failed. I think it was in January or something like that. I thought it had failed just because I seen that the leaves had fallen completely off those plants, and just touching like the stalks of the plants, I thought it felt like they were dried out and dead, and I ended up being wrong about that. I ended up tearing down those plants and chucking them, and I ended up discovering there was a few plants that were in here that I didn't get over the fence yet, but I had already uprooted them, took them out of their containers and everything, and ended up discovering once we had a few days of a little bit warmer weather, it had turned out the plants were actually still alive. Like I scratched the stalks on them, and all of a sudden there was nice light green, moist wood underneath. And I ended up discarding them all for nothing. The whole point of doing that was to see if they could survive throughout the winter, with the aid of a frost blanket over up top and tons of dirt surrounding them to help keep the roots from freezing. And it looks like it could have possibly survived, but it was too little too late. I already had almost everything chucked over my fence in the back. But all right, and then we have our chocolate primatalis. So we still got peppers on the plants. Still feel pretty rigid. And you see we do got some damage to a lot of the leaves from the cold. And let's see if we have any big ones. Oh, I don't know if I should leave that out here. That's sticking out for where the dogs can get a hold of it. I'm going to pick that. I don't want my dogs getting hurt by these peppers. If they got curious and ended up taking a bite, that would be awful. I don't want my babies hurt like that. Especially not a chocolate primatali. Alright, so still got some decent sized peppers. Kind of on the skinny side, but so whenever it's going to be in a few days. It said the temperature is going to drop possibly as low as 21 degrees. So we may see some heavy damage after that night goes by. All right, so now we're inside. I know I was in here just a few days ago picking peppers out, and I picked off probably a couple dozen ahi lemon drops. So I'm just collecting those, and I'm going to be making sauces for my bosses and coworkers. They really like those. You can see some of these plants lost a lot of leaves already, but see. They feel kind of rigid. Looks like my ghost pepper plants definitely took a hit. So you can see all the leaves on these plants are dark and wilted. It's kind of like, you know, if you throw spinach leaves in the freezer, nice crisp fresh spinach. Yeah, it only takes it even being in there for even just a few hours, and you pull that out of the freezer. If they had already frozen, then those leaves will turn dark green and look just like that. They'll shrivel up. And that's what these ghost peppers looks like. That's what they have done. And these plants too, they did very well in the beginning of the season. And there was I don't know, what was it, like May and June. I think I took in a whole bunch of these, and I had a whole bunch saved for myself. I sent a whole bunch out in the mail, and then all of a sudden I went a few months, like a good 3 months, with these plants hardly putting out anything at all. And then there was a couple weeks I was able to pick off a few dozen, and then it was a dry spell with these things. They weren't putting out much of anything until just this past like 3 weeks. Suddenly they start pumping them out again. But I mean, it's kind of late now. I got enough. These ones I am going to be turning into sauce. Most of these plants out here are going to be turned into just powders and flakes. All my red peppers anyways, with the exception of the ghost peppers. So my reapers, red primatalis, cayenne peppers, and yeah, those are all going to be just dehydrated and smashed into flakes. And then my red ghost peppers are going to be turned into sauce. I really, really like ghost pepper sauce, so that's what I'm going to do with them. My chocolate peppers are definitely getting turned into sauces. My the chocolate bootlas, well, gosh, I might get like probably like a 6-ounce bottle of sauce at best. And I'm probably going to have to make, it's going to have to be like a really low POP, percentage of pepper sauce. You know, a lot of filler, you know, just to create one bottle. And then my chocolate primatalis are definitely getting turned into sauces. I love my chocolate hot sauces, so. But yeah, that's what my garden looks like right now. And so let's see. I hit that chocolate. Is that a? Hey, look at that. Looks like we have a couple. We'll pick those off. A couple chocolate bootla peppers, and then there we'll pick these couple red habaneros off as well. So I picked a bunch off more than a week ago. A lot of peppers all around here that were only partially ripened, and they did a pretty good job of quickly finishing ripening all the way in my bedroom. I just keep them in a bucket, like a little 1-gallon ice cream bucket I got from my roommates. I just put paper towels in it. I set the peppers in them, put paper towels on top of that to absorb any moisture so they don't, you know, rot as easily. And it does a pretty good job of ripening, being in my bedroom at room temperature. But yeah, that's what's going on with my garden right now. So maybe in about a week, I'll make another video after we've hit nights that were close to 20 degrees, and we'll see what happens. So until then, I will see you next time.